Southwest in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Mark Allen here at Late Night Health. We are going to spend the day, off and on throughout the day, talking to really exciting people. I just met a young lady whose name is Betty Wedman. Betty is Dr. Betty. You're a clinical
nutritionist.
You have a new book out.
Yes.
Tell me the name.
Cannabis as medicine.
Is cannabis really a good medicine?
Yes, not just CBD, but also the use of THC, and most of all, terpenes and flavonoids. That's the area that I'm most interested in.
Let me ask you a question.
Thank you very much.
Just about the general feeling of CBD. You're too young to remember the radio and TV show Dragnet.
TC, we're good. Have a good day. Thank you.
No, I'm not that young.
Okay. You remember Dragnet. They would often talk about marijuana, Mary Jane, pot, as a starter drug.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this on the show before. I've never been a user. Okay, I've tried it a couple of times. It doesn't do anything for me. All right? Maybe after talking to you, I should start smoking. However, when somebody is got terrible pain, dying of cancer, wouldn't marijuana be a better way of treating that pain than doping somebody up with morphine?
Many of the patients I see are brought in by their families for getting rid of or reducing their opioids and their pain meds. Now that can be a person with arthritis, that could be a person with cancer pain, any of those, even Parkinson's. They're brought in by their family wanting to know what would be best for reducing some of those pain meds.
I guess the real question here is, for 75 years, 80 years, whenever, I guess in the 30s when hemp products were not allowed, does the American people really understand what this fabulous product can do?
Well, Mark, they don't remember when each one of the drug companies had a marijuana tonic. It was called a cannabis tonic, whether it was Parker Davidson, whether it was Bausch Lomb, any of them had a tonic. Then in the 1930s was when it became a Schedule I drug. Then things changed and marijuana became the bad guy. But prior to that, it was used for headaches, menstrual cramps, all kinds of rheumatoid arthritis pains, things of that nature.
Wow. All right, let's focus on what your book is. This is an update to the book?
Yes, the first book was Cannabis, a Clinician's Guide to help healthcare professionals look at cannabis and the science behind it. This one is Cannabis as Medicine, where I interview Dr. Rachel Mishalem, and we talk about the history behind his research, and then also how do you use cannabis for pain, how do you use it for autism, how do you use it for epilepsy, and I went through and interviewed a number of physicians on 25 different types of disorders and what dosing is possible.
One of the things that I don't understand, because while my mom wanted me to be a doctor, I went to film school instead. So, probably should have gone to, sorry, Mom. Anyway, my point is that Americans really don't know what it is. Yet, I think the studies are over 60% of the people say CBD as a standalone should be used, should be allowed, and legal. Why is the government holding back? And this is a revenue source. Look at the state of Colorado.
I can't believe we are blind to the amount of money that is in this market. But even edibles are going to be over a $20 million market this year.
Million or billion?
Million this year.
This year alone?
It's projected to be over $3 billion by 2020. Now that's quite a big jump because it just shows you. And this is all out of pocket.
It's not covered by insurance.
No.
Well, all right, let's ask that question. Should it be?
Well, right now, Big Pharma's really squirming because the latest research over the summer showed that cannabis, particularly CBD with a little bit of THC, worked
Thank you.
as an adjunct to chemotherapy.
Holy moly.
And when that's a threat to oncology, and many of the people I see want to do just cannabis for their cancer and not any chemotherapy.
Does that cannabis reduce tumors?
Yes, we've known for a long time that terpenes and flavonoids were very important. That's why your mother told you to eat your vegetables and fruit.
I told her to send it to China.
So those two, terpenes and flavonoids are gross, and they are major components, although they're small amounts, in full-strength cannabis.
Wow. One of the things that appeals to me is that you can take charge of your own health care.
Exactly.
Rather than going to a doctor, okay? So I called you Betty, you're a doctor. I don't know how you have your patients address you, but we talk about being on the same level playing field. And the way to start that with a new doctor, oncologist, maternity, it doesn't matter what kind of practitioner, even a chiropractor and a massage therapist, a nutritionist. You call them by their first name, and you do that to level that playing field because I believe that we are each in charge of our own health care. If you want to be if you want oncology, great. If you want to try something different, you should have that right.
Yes, you should. And it shouldn't have to be just all out of pocket either.
Oh, we're on the same team. We really are.
Well, I work with the patients that are 3 years old, 6 years old, up to 92 years old.
Oh, my.
And their families are saying, now, I really want to know the truth about the CBD stuff that's advertised on the local corner. Or, how can this help my father who can't even find his car keys anymore?
And how do you know what to buy and what not to buy? There are a lot of studies about this right now where a lot of the products that are sold on the internet don't even have CBD in them.
Well, that brings up my chapter in Cannabis as Medicine, where I show you some of the products that I got off of the internet and have them analyzed, and they had nothing like what they said the label was going to contain.
Which is totally against FDA regulations.
But there are no regulations in FDA.
Well, there are for supplements. If it says vitamin C, 500 milligrams, it has to be in that bottle.
But there's nothing for cannabis.
Well, but if it's considered a supplement, which it has been, then it has to follow that rule. I'm not an attorney either. Sorry again, Mom. They're just rules. A lot of people, especially doctors. I went into a doctor's office and I brought him, he was an allergist, and I brought him a supplement that had been clinically tested. And he looked at it, he said, oh, they just put something in it and it's garbage. I won't talk to you about it. And I said, bye, doc, because he wanted me to go through allergy testing and all kinds of stuff. And I said, absolutely. I didn't want to do it because this stuff worked. I knew what I was allergic to. Actually, I went through the allergy testing. I told him I'm allergic to grass mowing. I have a gardener. And I live in Southern California, a lot of olive trees. 2 very common allergies, right? And so we did that.
Well, but I went to a couple places that sell cannabis products here in Las Vegas yesterday.
Right.
And I just didn't live with what they had on the label. I asked for the certificates of analysis, which are required by the states that are legally selling cannabis products. And I said, I want to see the actual printout of a certificate of analysis. I tell all my patients and all the medical students that I work with that they have to see the authentic thing.
One of the things that I saw at a cannabis place in the Los Angeles area was a QR code, and it showed the plant being in that bottle. It showed where it was grown.
Mm-hmm.
It showed when it was processed, the dates, and when it was manufactured and put into that capsule or whatever it was.
Right.
Of course, they also gave me some water because I was thirsty. I didn't know CBD was in it. The name of the book is Cannabis as Medicine. Is
Correct.
it available on Amazon?
Yes, and it's published by CRC Press, so it's available, for the John Q public or healthcare professionals who want to become more familiar, because more and more of their patients are going to ask questions, and they need to be informed too.
Absolutely. One of the other things that just popped into my mind, and now it's popped out of my mind, is in purchasing cannabis products, why are they so expensive?
Supply and demand, primarily,
Got it.
and there isn't adequate supply.
There isn't.
No.
Of good stuff.
Of good stuff that's been tested. Now, realizing that testing can cost anywhere from $200 to $500 one round.
Right. And what should the average person take for, say, just regular, pain, as we get older, my back?
Well, but again, we have a very spoiled public who
Yes.
wants to swallow pills. That's not the best way to use cannabis for pain. Pain is very much an important factor if it's going to be a topical product, applied where the pain is.
Interesting. So, but there are CBD products that have.
Yes, there are CBD products that are micronized, and there are lotions, things of that nature that could be rubbed onto knees and rubbed onto temples with headaches, things of that nature.
And they work.
And they work.
Do you have to have a minimum amount of CBD in those products? What do you
Well,
say?
I tell people that you start low, usually 5 milligrams, go up to 10, 20 milligrams on every couple day increase. But if you've got some, most people that are applying a topical, they can easily apply 100 milligram topical.
Wow.
Uh-huh. This is a product. This is a plant.
Sure.
There is no toxicity. It has never killed anyone.
When we come back, when you go back to Tampa, and I'm back in the LA area, will you spend more time with us?
Sure.
Oh, that'd be great. Our guest, Betty Wedman. Betty Wedman, St. Louis.
Right. I use both last names.
Okay, got it. And you can find out more about her at Betty Wedman, all right, it's Betty, Betty, hyphen, Wedman, Wedman, hyphen, stlouis.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also go to Amazon.com and look for the book. Thank you very much, Betty. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. I'm Mark Allen. We're going to be doing more of these throughout the day, so be sure to join us. This is Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com, also on facebook.com/Late Night Health Radio. We'll be back.
What's that facial expression about?